Okay, guys, let's now take our skills that we've learned with systems of linear equations and put them to use with some practical application problems. Um, so, word problems are everybody's favorite, I know. But here's some steps that we're going to always make sure that we follow. And so, this can really help you whenever you are working in any algebraic word problem. So the first thing that you want to do is after reading, of course, first read, but then after you're done reading, what you're going to want to do is define your variables. So what does that mean? Okay, so in algebra, you're always working out equations with variables, right? Well, you're going to need to write those equations. So you need to figure out what is X going to stand for? What is Y going to stand for? Okay. A couple um, tips for that. What you want to look for is when you decide what to make your variables, ask yourself, what question are they asking you? Okay, what are they asking you to find? Are they asking you to find the cost of something? Are they asking you to find how many there are? Okay, that will determine what you need your variable to be. Okay, whatever you don't know yet is going to be your variable. Another tip, be specific. Okay, it's going to help you along the way if you're very specific when you define your variables. Okay, all right. The next thing you're going to want to do, and so since we're working in our systems, you're going to want to write your equations. Okay, you'd always write an equation in algebra, but since we're working with systems, we're going to have two equations. Okay, after that, you're going to solve them. Okay, and you can use them using any method. You can use graphing, substitution, elimination. Um, Graphing is a little bit harder if you are doing it by hand because you have to be super exact and precise. And some of these answers aren't whole numbers, so it really wouldn't make sense unless you were doing it on a computer. And then finally, make sure you confirm your answer. Okay. So don't ever leave something undone and just say that, X is equal to 2. Well, what is 2? Okay. Okay, so let's look at number one. So the sum of two numbers is 30 and their difference is 12. Oh, we're gonna have to pull some of those math words out of here. What is the sum? Well, the sum is the answer to an addition problem. Okay, and what is the difference? The difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. Okay, so they're thinking of two numbers, all right? And their sum is 30 and their difference is 12. So I need to find those two numbers. So let's define my variables. I know there's going to be an X and a Y. Okay, so let's just tell ourselves what is X going to be in words and what is Y going to be. So, like I said, what are they asking you to find? Look for that question. Okay, look for that missing piece that you need to find. You need to find the two numbers. So let's go ahead and write that X is one of the numbers and Y is one of the numbers. And it may help us as well. So let's say X is the first number and Y is the second number. Number A, number B, whenever you want to write that, but they're each one of the numbers. So first I'm going to use the clue that says that their sum is 30. So when you hear the sum, automatically what you want to do is you want to put a plus sign and there's going to be two pieces to that. Okay. Now the sum of two numbers is, that's an equal sign, 30. Okay. The sum of what? The sum of what? It's of the two numbers. So these are my two numbers, X and Y. So the sum of X and Y is 30. All right, perfect. We wrote one of our equations. Now we're going to do the same thing with the subtraction one, okay? Their difference, so when you see difference, you write a subtraction sign, is 12. So what are my two missing pieces here? Well, we're still talking about the same thing, the two numbers, X and Y. So we wrote a system of equation by first defining my variables and then gathering the clues to find a relationship with these variables. Okay, so now that we have my equations, what can we do? Well, we can use our methods to solve. So you have options here. Let's just go ahead and say that we're not going to graph right now. They didn't give us any graphs. If you want to graph, you can graph, but I'm going to either work with substitution or elimination. Now, either method would work perfectly fine for this example. I think one method is already set up very nicely. Okay, can you think about which method is already set up very nicely? Yeah, elimination, guys. If you add these two together, which variable is just going to go away magically? Those y's. So if you have x plus x, how many x's do you have? You have two x's, right? Those coefficients are 1 equals 42. Okay, and I'm kind of running out of room. I'm going to divide, and I'm going to write right here, x equals 21. All right, so that's my first number. My first number is 21. Well, how do I find my second number? Well, you plug them into either equation, okay? Maybe I'll use my purple one. X plus y equals 30. Well, if x is 21, what does y have to be? Well, let's see. I'm going to subtract 21 from both sides, and y, 21 from both sides is equal to y is equal to 9. Okay, so you'd want to write the first number is x, or the first number is 21, and the second number is 9. Okay, so I'm going to leave number 2 for you. Now, we're not going to work through all of these today, okay? So some of your notes will be blank because there's a lot of problems on here. So I'm just going to work through a few and assign you a few. So make sure you do number 2, okay? All right, let's do number 3. The difference between two numbers is 9. The first number plus twice the other number is 27. Find the two numbers. So once again, we're finding two numbers. So I'm going to let x and y be the same thing. First number, second number. Okay, and it really doesn't matter which one was which. But let's go ahead and build our equations. So first they say the difference, okay, so I know this is going to be a subtraction problem, between two numbers, between two things is, that's an equal sign, is always an equal sign, 9. So that means the difference of my two numbers, well, my two numbers are x and y. Okay, and then the first number, all right, so this is x, plus, so first number plus twice the other number. What does twice the other number look like? That looks like 2 times y, right? 2y is, there's that is again, equal sign, 27. So read through these very carefully and just build them one at a time, okay? Now, since we have our equation set up, we have two different options. We can solve using substitution or we can solve using elimination. For the fun of it, we could do either one. We could do elimination right now. Yeah, let's just do elimination. Let's do the easiest way. If I wanted to do substitution, I could solve this for x and move that y over and then plug in x to the second equation, but we're already pretty close. I'm going to try and eliminate my x's because they have the same coefficient of 1, right? So I'm going to subtract these whole equations. So be careful when you subtract, guys. I don't have enough room to rewrite, so I'm going to do this. So I have x minus x's goes away. Negative y minus positive 2y. A negative y minus a positive 2y leaves me a negative 3y. So if you need to distribute those, okay, go for it. And then you have 9 minus 27 is a negative 18. So I have one equation with one variable. I'm going to divide by negative 3, and I'm left with I'm going to move over here. Y equals 6. Sorry, they don't leave a whole lot of room in here. So if you decide you want to work it out on a separate sheet of paper, go for it. Or, you know, write a little bit smaller. I feel like I got to write big for you guys though. Maybe I'll make the screen bigger. Okay, so you just need to plug this into either equation. I'm just going to plug it into the first one. So instead of x minus y, I put x minus 6, add 6 to both sides, x equals 15. So my first number is 15 and my second number is 6. Okay, now I'm going to leave number 4 for you guys. All right, I'm going to stop this video and then do a few more on the other pages as well.